again. Gentleman Jim the Tailor here.
Victoria Baylor Dressmaker. We're excited to have you at yet another show, the Tailor and the Dressmaker.
And you're looking wonderful today.
Thank you, and you're looking rather spiffy. You gonna pop your collar?
Well, thank you, darling.
This is an everyday thing with him, by the way. Vested out to the nines, looking great. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching our second show for the year, which is really great. I know. And it's already the 20th of January, which is insane. I mean, I feel like January just started. So anyway, this is our second show. Last week we talked about sewing resolutions, and we discovered that we didn't even say anything in regards to our opinions on the subject. We didn't.
We talked about how you guys could make some.
That's right. But we think it's really cool if you kind of take a sneak peek into how we think about sewing resolutions and how we go about planning our year. So hopefully you'll find that to be, pretty insightful. So we'll go ahead and get started. We have a series of questions. We're going to be on the hot seat today.
Yes.
It's going to be hot in here. We're going to answer honestly. One thing that we will say, and we hope that you've noticed, is that there is no pretense when it comes to Gentleman Jim and myself. We're very honest people. We don't try to pretend to be anything that we're not. We're just people trying to master our trade. Well, some of us have already arrived, but the rest of us are trying to master our trade and become good. So please know that we're answered very honestly, and hopefully that, if anything, we want you to be inspired by our answers and know that there's not much of a big difference between you and us, right?
It really is.
It really isn't.
It really is.
That's right.
I tell my students that I have now that when I started in this industry, my teacher in school said, I want you guys to be better than me.
That's right. That's right. I
got better than him in certain things now. And then when I went into industry, my mentor told me that I want you to be better than me. And I got better than him in some things. And I have students now that I have physically trained that are better than me, technically, in sewing. Their sewing looks better than mine, and my students always say, but yours looks so good, how could theirs look better? It can. And that's why I push so much on you guys to get better. People say, oh, I want to be like yours. And no, you don't want to be like me, you want to be better than me.
That's right. And I think that's such a testament and the sign of a great mentor is when you, it's just like a parent, when you strive for your mentees, your kids, and Mr. Jim does regard his students as his kids to be so much better than you as a person. And then at the same time, I think it makes it attainable. Because oftentimes people act like they're on this level, and then they don't want to tell you how they got there, and they don't make it seem like there's some superpower. Truthfully, there's people that can do feats and they're really great and gifted in certain areas, but true enough, the rest of us are just normal people, just striving to do extraordinary things.
Plain old brother from Harlem.
That's right. And you work hard at anything, you can get good. So anyway, let's talk about these resolutions. We're going to give you our ideas and our perspective. The first question we're both going to answer is, what does a good sewing year look like? What does a good sewing year look like for you, Mr. Jim?
For a long time, I had pushed sewing, physical sewing, out of my picture. All I wanted to do is teach. So I passed on a lot of great opportunities. And now all of a sudden, I find myself, I got bored. So I started taking on projects. So a good sewing year for me now is to take on these projects that people come to me with. And they're coming to me with all kinds of projects.
So it's like you're opening up a whole new world of just new experiences,
for me.
Which is funny because you've been doing it over 50-something years, which goes to show there's always opportunity to have new experiences.
Oh, listen.
It's really great.
I have one, and I'm going to be brief on this. He's an actor who impersonates people. So right now I'm working on outfits for him. He impersonates Burt Reynolds. Now, for you guys who don't know who Burt Reynolds is, you better look up who Burt Reynolds is.
That's right. For those born in probably like the 90s and later.
He made a movie called Smokey and the Bandit.
That's right. Very popular in his time. So that's Mr. Jim's answer. I'm going to answer, and I will say this. We have not prepared for these questions. I feel like the most honest answers are the ones that come off the top of your head. So forgive us as we probably talk in circles, but we're going to be very honest here. So I'm a thinker. I hadn't thought this through, but I'm going to give you my honest answer. What a good sewing year looks like for me is, I think it's one that's very productive, in which I feel very accomplished in helping other people accomplish their goals. I sew professionally for other people, so I love being able to help them. I do a lot of formal wear, so for me, I get a high off of just helping them look beautiful for their special occasion event. The second thing is I'm just a learner by trade. I will learn forever. If I could be in school forever, I probably would be. So a good sewing year for me is to learn some new skills and to do some new things. I don't think I've ever sewn a leather jacket. I would like to do that this year. And I'm still creating my list of some of the things I want to accomplish. I have some business and professional goals in sewing. I'm trying to launch some new business ideas and stuff. So things like that. So a good sewing year for me will be having a list of some things, accomplishing them, and then, venturing out into some new territories, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what we encourage you to do. If you've learned, even if you can't do a lot of something, if you can make pot holders and you love it, why not think about, I can launch a business making pot holders using really cool fabric.
That's right.
Go ahead and say
That's
something.
right.
I know you got something to say about that. You can.
Yeah. You never know what's in front of you until you make the first step towards it.
That's right.
I have a student of mine who I'm helping her. I've launched quite a few careers. I must say, when I say launch, it was them. I just taught them the basics of sewing and then guided them along the way. And I have another student who I physically helped create a line of her clothing. So this is also part of what am I going to do? Help her get started. Now I don't want to be in this for the long run, but I'm gonna help her get started. I'm making up some clothes for her.
See, helping other people ignite their passions is also just something we all strive for, and that's a beautiful thing, being able to do that. Okay, so number 2 is for us, and if I didn't misnumber this, I would know what that is. What are your main sewing goals? I guess we kind of talked about that, but what are you, I guess, how can we rephrase that? What does a good sewing year look like for you? What's your main agenda? You said helping other people launch.
Helping those launch a career so they get started in life. I've been blessed. I've been doing this for 50 years. I'm at the tail end of it. So for me to be able to help others make their mark in it, it just thrills my heart to be able to do that for them.
That's right. And then we forgot to both say our mutual goal, of course, is to grow this show and to grow the viewership of this show naturally. My personal goals are to, of course, continue to help other people and sew custom stuff, but I'm venturing more into the business side of sewing and the teaching side, so I love that. In addition to Mr. Jim, we're going to launch some courses and other unique things, which is great. So that's kind of our goals, or my goals specifically. And that kind of ties with the next question. What strengths do you have that make it easy for you to achieve those goals? And this is where you can brag a little bit. It's all right. If you don't, I will.
What strengths do I have?
Yeah.
You know what my greatest strength is? I can sew. It's as simple as that. I can't stress enough how important it is for you guys to master the basics, the basic techniques of sewing. That's my strength. I'm a very strong sewer. I've mastered what you guys hear me talk all the time about, straight stitching, zippers and pockets. Well, I've mastered those. That is a strength to me.
And I can testify to that. And before I definitely sing his praises, the reason we pose this question is a lot of people don't take the time to realize what they're good at.
Yeah.
They're either they're running and chasing their tail, trying to fix things they're not so good at. But the truth is, there's something to be said about your strengths, because that's the empowering to help push you to new goals. And I can definitely testify, Mr. Jim is definitely technically sound. Most people don't take the time to get technically sound when it comes to their sewing. Therefore, they can't go to the next levels because they don't have the technicals down.
No.
You can't skip over the technicals. But how many times do people try to do that?
They come to me all the time. I've been sewing for 30 years, 20 years, but you can't sew straight, see? So you haven't taken the time to do that. And I only say this, and I'm not going to stop saying it. When you can do those 3 things, there's actually nothing you shouldn't be able to make. I don't care what it is, because once you've mastered those, you're doing what? Following a seam allowance.
That's right.
That's it. Once it's cut, if you follow the seam allowance, you should get a good looking product.
Absolutely. And the main thing is, it's funny, you might hear us say a lot of things like, because I agree with Mr. Jim, I don't consider myself to be like the superb, most excellent sewer out there. I actually don't. I didn't consider myself to be a really good sewer, but am I like the top-notch best? No, I'm sure I'm not, because there's always room to grow, but I'm consistently good. And that's what we're pointing to.
Yeah.
So if your seam allowance looks like and then it's up. But if you can maintain a steady, every once in a while something's gonna get off. Maybe a 1/32 of a that might happen. But if you're always doing this and this and this, that's not consistency. And if you do something enough and you practice it well enough, you can become technically sound. And then from that, you can do anything. That's right. So it's really not, I can't sew coats. The thing is, I can't sew straight. It's not, I can't sew a skirt. That's not the problem. You just can't sew straight. And I learned that from the gentleman right here. He's absolutely right. Gotta sew straight. Okay, so, and I didn't even answer the question. So my strengths as far as to help me achieve some of my goals is I tend to be persistent, which is a good thing. I'm very systematic, not neurotic, but I am very systematic, but that's just a natural personality thing. And then I'm to a degree very organized. So because of that, that will help me overcome some of my shortcomings, and we're going to talk about those, because you can't address your strengths without addressing your weaknesses. We're people. I got a ton of them. So we're going to be realistic. And if you look at everyone that achieve something great in life, they're just as human as you and I are.
Absolutely.
They have shortfallings, they have struggles, they're neurotic, some of them are just plain out crazy, but they were brilliant. Find your brilliance. So we're going to go into our next question. What are some of the challenges and hindrances you feel that might come against you as you try to achieve your goals?
I'm going to be real honest with you. I've been blessed. I don't have a lot of them. The challenge that I have right now is, as I've gotten older, I've gotten slower. Now, that's a challenge to me, because I used to be so super quick.
He still sews faster than most of us. His slow is still
but I'm
fast.
slower.
But yeah.
That's a challenge for me, but I'm 71 years old. And my motor skills aren't what they used to be. My eyesight isn't what it used to be. That's the only challenge that I can honestly say, as far as being able to create anything or figure out anything, and nothing can get past me because of the background of sewing. I figure things out that I've not done before. So I don't let anything challenge me. And like I say, that's my only challenge is, as I grow older, my motor skills slow down. So.
Well, some of my challenges and hindrances are, I have a lot on my plate for this year, so I'm trying to, and I don't believe in balance. I'm smart enough to know that there's no such thing. And there's no such thing as multitasking. I've actually gotten smart enough to know that. It's all about priority. We all have 24 hours in a day. You got to decide. So the truth is, let me make a segue before I start dumping my weaknesses and strengths. If you want to get it, and Mr. Jim will say this, it has to dominate. It has to be priority. Like, you literally have to feed your family real quick or do whatever and spend 3-4 hours a night to get it. There's no magic tricks here. That's pretty much what it is. Okay, so back to what I was saying about my weaknesses and strength. I have a lot on my plate, so I have to figure out what's important and what's to prioritize. And I'm working on that now, because I would like to be super accomplished and achieve some things this year. My other thing is, and I think I'm getting through this, it was like the valley of shadow and death. I am a natural thinker. I mean, I just can't help it. I have a science background. I don't know. I'm just analytical that way. And the hardest thing, I literally do have to turn my brain off, because I will begin to suffer from a condition called analysis of paralysis, where you will think about something. You will think about something and the ins and outs so much that it will literally just stop you from doing what you need to do. I've learned, I know the switch in my brain is now. So I'll just turn it off and I'll just do it. Just get it done. And a girlfriend and I were talking about it. There's this really great book by a gentleman called the 10X Rule. And sometimes you have people that are either overachievers or sometimes high achieving people. They just kind of tend to work at a certain level and you don't realize it, and you just don't want to get caught up in all that. So there's a difference between, I've learned, creating the task, and then there's just straight execution, and sometimes my brain gets dismissed in the process. So I would say one other just challenge is, as anything when you're launching a new business, is just money and making sure you have everything in place. I think Mr. Jim said it earlier. It's about just figuring things out and being ingenious enough to do stuff, whether you have money, don't have money, just learning how to work around challenges. So that's kind of things I'm working on for this year. Okay, our next question is, what specific projects are in your pipeline? And we kind of alluded to that.
Yeah.
In these specific, I guess we got that. So we're going to skip that one. This is a really good one. How do you maintain your excitement during your process, or just even in productivity? How do you maintain it?
Ooh,
You get in a project you're not exactly that excited about, because that's what always
Well,
happens.
What's happening to me is if I get into a project that's not exciting, here's what I'm doing. I complete that project and get it off the plate. You talked about that. Completion. Let me get this out of the way, because if I jump over it, I still have to come back to it. Let me get it out of my way and let me go on to another project. And what I'm finding now is people are bringing projects to me. So all I have to do is execute them really for them. And I said, this thing with my student, I didn't really want to sew it, but I saw how great this could be for her, and I like what she was doing. If I like what you're doing and I can help you, I get excited about that, and I put my all in all. This actor who's an impersonator of other people, that's recreating the look that they had. Ooh, I got excited about that. I almost passed on that. Now I'm so excited about it because, look, I grew up, I know Burt Reynolds. I know the flare pants and the bell-bottom pants, the big collar shirts. I haven't done those in a long time. So that's my excitement comes from, yeah, it's costume work.
That's very fun.
So, yeah.
But that's a good point, though, and a lot of you have to power through stuff. So my other question is, when it's like quicksand, that one project where you get stuck or you're waiting for your client to get their act together, how do you maintain your sanity if you're in the middle of a project like that and you can't just get through it real fast?
Well, here's what I do. I make a vest.
Oh. You do a little side project.
I do. I make a vest because I get excited when I make vests. My vest guy came back on the scene again. I got another one to make for him. You know I'm going to post it. So that's how I get my excitement.
That's a good idea.
Find something that you truly enjoy making it, and when you get bored, you can stop that project for a minute, make that up, your excitement and adrenaline starts to flow again. You go back to that one that's kind of weighing you down.
Excellent advice. Very excellent. You'll find that in sewing, it's just like anything else. Yeah. It's mind over matter, and a lot of it is just psychology. And what I like to say is tricking myself into doing the right thing. Yeah. The way I like to handle it essentially is when I have something that's really, or how I can maintain my excitement is, I like to build in small reward systems. So for instance, and I've learned this from some of my, I'm in a few masterminding groups, and I've learned this from some of my girlfriends is, you know, the whole adage, work hard, play hard. If you know you get rewarded for something, or if you know how we act when we know vacations around the corner?
I do.
We cram everything in it. We're working because we're excited at the notion that, you know, there's that time. Well, I like to honor the Sabbath on Sundays, you know, because of my Christian faith. So I will work hard throughout the week because I know I kind of have a day off. Well, in addition to that, I like little rewards. So at the end of this weekend, because I know I've been looking at webinars and I've been, Mr. Jim, I've been planning and we've been pumping through it. Friday, there is a cupcake at Whole Foods, a gluten-free cupcake with my name on it. And I'm renting a movie and I'm going to have a little bit of me time. And because I know something's coming like that, I know it gives me the energy and strength to just be like, okay, let's do this. Let's go. Let's crank. So this is team no burnout here. Always know how to you have to learn yourself. You have to learn your psychology and your psychoses sometime and figure out what it takes to help you get through a project.
Oh, yeah.
And then my last thing is I read a really good book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. And it's a really small book, so I encourage anybody to get it. And it has the same ideology of how do you eat an elephant, something that's really big. Yeah. Well, one bite at a time. So you learn to break down tasks into manageable parts and power through. So definitely get that book. It's a really good one. Okay, so our next question is, we're getting down to the end here. What is your motivation? Why do you do what you do? And I think you brought that up earlier. Like with all your sewing now, what's been motivating you? You said your students have been doing it.
They are, because the talent that I possess it doesn't belong to me. The Lord blessed me with it, and He ordained me to give it back. I get excited when I see the results of my teaching to my students and what they do with it, and I'm real excited. And I keep in touch with most of my students, especially those that have launched careers. I look at them on Facebook and check I like it, because I do like it there. if there's a question that they have, they've called me from all over the country, the ones that have moved away from the Savannah area that I've had. And they'll ask my advice, and I feel good to be able to share what I know with them so that they can move forward with their careers.
And that, to me, that is the most, I don't think of any other motivation to have. If it's the most selfless and it's the most truly rewarding. Like, how is that rewarding you?
It is. Oh, it is. It is. It is. It just is.
See, you can't put into words, and I really do understand that feeling myself. I think that's just a greater purpose in life. If you live for yourself, you're not really living for much. The whole point is to use our gifts, talents, everything God given to help and shape the lives of other people. And I love that, and I'm motivated by, when I dress women, it's odd. I didn't notice the pattern, but when I dress women, we are some of the hardest people on ourselves. But we are the most beautiful. And I'm not talking about an essence external. There's so much inner beauty. Clothing is just an accent. Clothing is just something to adorn you, to reflect what's on the inside. But yet so many women either hide behind it, or they don't utilize it, or they don't know. It's just, there's so much destructive thinking when it comes to dressing. And for me, I'm so motivated by letting people know, like, you really are beautiful. Small, skinny, plus I don't even care about numbers. I'm a seamstress. It's a tape measure. It's just a number.
Numbers.
Who cares about numbers? But to be able to just encourage people in that sense, I'm very motivated by that. And then a lot of my business ideas are geared around that motivation to help make things easier for women, men, whoever, and just to let people discover really what they're all about and see who they are, and, you know, all that other beautiful, wonderful, sappy stuff.
Yeah.
So
saying from that, a lot of, especially women, come to me and they talk about, well, I don't have that shape for this, or I won't look good in this, or that's not my color. That's a lie, and the truth is, any color will look good on anybody if it's placed right.
that's right.
Within the creativity of the garment.
That's right. It's the right shade, and you're absolutely right. A lot of,
When you can help make a person look good in some clothes, that boosts their image, that boosts their self-esteem. Most of the time, especially if they've gained a few pounds or are underweight, and the clothes don't look good, when you can help somebody look good in clothes, I don't care what anatomy, what size you have, that boosts them up. When they can look and say, I look good in this, opposed to the old cliche, look like a sack.
That's right. And see, the thing is, we want to change, which I'm motivated by, is to change the way people see. There's no such thing as bad bodies. Like, stop looking at your body. It's the clothes you're picking.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. It really, you can throw, I don't care, you can take Naomi Campbell, some of these people throw the wrong thing on them. And I know people are like, well, they look good in everything, I hate them. I mean, so somebody seem a little more conducive to different styles. That's a different styling thing. But I'm limited. I can't wear certain styles. I'm short-waisted. I mean, it's like I want to wear printed pants up to my navel and the sailor ones, but then it looked like I just am just nothing but boobs and a small chest frame, you know, so it would be weird. So we all have our limitations in dressing. Don't take it personally, but it really isn't you, it's the clothes.
It's the
so
clothes. That's
our motivation there.
You know, I once made I made a line of clothes for a store in Atlanta, Georgia, of plus sizes. And I made up to a size 12X. You guys can't even believe how big a 12X. But they raved over it because I contoured the clothes to that size body. So that's why I say it's the clothes.
It's never the body.
They had
it's
never
the
had clothes fit like that.
That's right.
They never had them. They never had them.
That's right.
So you can do anything you want to do.
That's right. And you're going to learn more about that, and we're going to teach you how to do anything you want to do later on in the show and all that good stuff. But I think that rounds out pretty much all of our answers and our questions. I hope you kind of got a better insight. So sorry, last week we threw you a list of 10 resolutions, but we really didn't give you any personal perspective.
Did y'all work on those?
That's a good point, because you had an action plan. And I know some people left comments. So just to follow up with you, if you don't mind, in the comment section below this video, tell us what is your biggest goal for this year. We'd love to know. We'd love to know. It'd be kind of cool to know.
And if you don't mind, we'll share it. We won't put your name unless you say it's okay. But we'd like other people to hear what other people's goals are.
That's right. That's right. And then while you're in there, of course, looking at the video, look down in the comment section and read other people's goals.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. People have the same goals
Same
like
goals.
you. That's right.
Same
We're all
goals.
trying to do great things here. Okay, so that rounds up our today's show. We will say that we sent out a poll on last week to everyone that signed up to
Yes.
Mr. Jim's page, his Gumroad page. And we had a winner for the person that answered the poll. We don't feel comfortable putting your email address on this show, but we will email you, get your name, and hopefully a photo, and we can include you in next week's our newsletter. But in the meantime, if you have not signed up, I'm putting a link right here, right now. Please go sign up so we can have your information, your email address. We don't send it out to anybody, but we do a lot of giveaways. You know us, to give is like golden, so we don't want to be able to include you next time. So I think that concludes that. Anything you want to say, Mr. Jim?
No, except I'll go back to what I say all the time. Perfect your technical skills, you perfect your life. You know, one of my mottos is, if you can sew it, you can sell it.
Absolutely.
Doesn't get any plainer than that.
That's right, and I agree totally. That'll open a world of just opportunities for you. And then, as I said last week, and what I'll probably continue to say every show, is that God has given you amazing, unique gifts.
That's right.
Whether it's sewing or something otherwise, please go out there and do some amazing things.
Oh, you better.
Well, we love you guys. Thanks for attending or watching, and we will see you on next week. And real quick, we have some exciting shows coming up.
Oh, boy.
New show format, some really cool stuff. Stay tuned, but love you for now. Bye-bye.
Bye now.